Hi everyone, this is Megan Bennett-Burks. I'm going to be game mastering Leaves of Chiaroscuro, Tower of the Weird Warlock today for the BrigadeCon. BrigadeCon is a free online RPG convention. It's doing fundraising for Child's Play, which you can donate to if you go to brigadecon.org. Is that correct? It's .org. All right, and they say yes. So we're gonna get started today. Everyone, introduce yourselves and your character, and if there's anything that you want to change about your character or questions you have about them, now is a good time to ask. And we'll start with Captain over here. I'm just gonna call you Captain because that's what your square says.
That's perfectly fine. Let me call up my character so I know who I'm talking about here. Not knowing a lot about the world. My name's Alex, aka Captain Gothnog, and today I'm playing Giano Zanin, a mercenary mage. So that says a lot. That says a lot about him. I haven't really envisioned him yet, so I'm gonna kind of begin sort of creating that as we go. I think based on his personal aspects. Kind of jumping into it and seeing what happens. So.
Yeah, and since this is a one-shot and everyone's kind of just getting a feel for it, if you think, what, this aspect doesn't actually make sense for how I'm playing the character, can I change this? Just mention it and we'll kind of wing it. All right, so Christopher.
You can call me Chris, actually.
Okay.
Let's make it shorter. It's just a holdover from when Google required full names, then I ended up with a full name everywhere, but that's fine. I answered everything. I'm going to be playing Duma Lunati, who is a Clockworks inventor. So the way I'm sort of viewing that is he's an engineer type and very interested in things, very curious, which is why he has the aspect, I wonder what that button does. So beware, team. I think he's going to get into a fair amount of trouble in a wizard tower because he'll be touching everything, touching all the shinies. He is a Nephilim, if I'm saying that right.
Yep.
And when he is in his, I guess you would call it the angelic form,
yep.
He has many eyes, which I find sort of creepy, and I haven't quite figured out what that looks like. I don't. And he has metallic skin, and I was going to say it would be copperish for some variety. He also has a stunt called Healing Blood, which I'm not quite sure how that would work if he was in metallic form, but I guess we'll bowl through that.
Yeah, and up to you to describe exactly how that works, in fact, if you want to get creative with it.
Okay, and that's about all I know about him. He's basically a craft engineer type, so not big on the fighting skills, except for the fact that he gets, I guess, pretty strong and pretty indestructible when he turns into metallic.
All right, Ian.
Hello, yes, good evening, White here. For this game, I will be playing Dragano Rossi. He's a shall we say, a witch hunter, or ex-witch hunter, a renegade witch hunter even. He's clothing-wise black with silver trim and a couple of nice black feathers in his hat. Should be fun to play. Looking forward to it.
All right, John.
Hi, I'm John from Red Dice Diaries, and I will be playing Natalia Phantom during this game, and she is a scion of the dragon gods, Hydra in particular, and is a member of a species known as the Lacerta. She has a silver tongue and a seductive glint to her eye. And she dabbles in the artistic world and those sort of things.
Great. Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt Holland. I'll be playing Prospero de Merlis, who is a condottiere, or condottiero would be the proper pronunciation. An Italian mercenary, basically. And I have a gun. Hooray! I also enjoy the finer things in life, perhaps a little too much, and am looking forward to reclaiming my birthright, which I do not have, as I am illegitimate. So there.
All right. So any questions or things you wanted to change about your characters at this point?
I've named my gun. Its name is Rosa. It is carved in a floral pattern.
Prospero, one thing I noticed on your character sheet, I think you have stealth twice.
I think I
do.
corrected that though. Oh, you got the old version. Replace one of those skills with a skill of your choice then.
All right.
And whilst you're doing that, can I just say that I entirely approve of the artistic additions to your gun?
Oh, great. Yeah, I was torn between that or just keeping crafts, but I was like, no, it's the Renaissance. There's such a distinction between the two to a degree. Gotta have both. All right, so you all live in Bologna, where you have been an urban adventuring group for a while. Because this is a world that is so familiar to us and yet so different because there is magic intermingling with the mundane, which has changed things. Bologna is a city of towers, the Red City. It is this city that has more wizard towers than anywhere else in Italy, certainly, if not Europe as a whole. Mages and other stranger things flock to the city, thanks in part due to an interpretation of a law called the Heaven Book, which was passed as the first law, at least in the Western world, officially banning slavery within a city. So you have been hired by Marius Scarlatti, who is an older noble. He's actually a father of a young noble that you have done work for before. That young noble is named Luca Scarlatti. He's young, eccentric, a bit of a loner, and an art collector. You have worked for him catching an art thief who is a very dangerous mage in the past. However, recently, this noble has gone missing thanks to a dimensional anomaly that has been found popping up throughout the city. So you have been hired to bring this noble back, preferably safe and alive, but if not possible, at least to find out what happened to him. I'm going to start you right off in what I would call the dungeon of this adventure, the Tower. As you have managed to find your way to the dimensional anomaly, in spite of it not being consistent in where it's located, and you have made your way into the tower through this anomaly. Now you find yourself inside the tower. The tower from the outside is nothing that stands out as unique from most of the towers in Bologna. It's very tall, square in shape. I really wish I could show pictures on this, but I don't know how. Who here has played Assassin's Creed 2? Or at least seen screenshots of those towers? I'm pretty sure that those are modeled after the towers in Bologna. So that's very much what this looks like, just a square, tall stone tower. Inside, you find yourselves in a large square room. There's an ornate table with phoenixes carved into it in the center of the room with 3 chairs surrounding it. There is a large rug with the ornate symbol of a black dragon stitched into it, covering most of the floor. There's a vase of flowers on the table. While everything else seems new and in peak condition, the flowers are well wilted. And you also see next to the vase of flowers, there is a small pendant or carving out of a blue stone of some manner of beetle. And there is a door in the far side of the room across from you that is closed.
Well, it's a nice table. It's a shame I can't bring it with me, unfortunately. But that necklace, if that were to disappear, well, into my pocket specifically.
Giano is sort of a shortish man. He's wearing a coat that almost drags the floor. He's slender. He has a close cut hair, and he kind of holds this kind of dark coat sort of around him. There's a watch chain that you can see on his vest, just beneath the coat. And he's sort of just standing there with his hands in his pockets, like he just sort of, wandered into the group, aimlessly from nowhere, and he just sort of is sort of standing in the corner right now, his kind of glancing about the room, taking in the decor, admiring the work without letting that any admiration, kind of appear on his face.
Okay, so Natalia standing there is wearing a I suppose a sort of a silvery looking, almost evening gown would be the best way of describing it. Rather like our companion Jano, she's also moving around and looking at the decor and the decorations, albeit with a slightly more scathing and critical eye. Occasionally, under her breath, she looks at something and goes, "Oh, well, that's a little tacky." Still, we can't have everything, I suppose.
As you do look around and get near the table, you notice that the wood has a slightly fragrant, almost like sweet vanilla scent to it.
As she sort of gets closer, and we can all sort of smell the scent in the air, you'll notice that Natalia's tongue sort of flickers out almost like a serpent, how they sort of get scents from the air, but her tongue is almost a sort of solid silver in colour as it just flickers out. And she goes, but that is positively delightful. What is that smell? I can't quite place it.
I speak over his shoulder, like how he does not quite sure how I appeared there. I say, it's vanilla. We use it sometimes to cover the smell of blood.
No, I do believe you're correct, my good fellow.
And you notice a faint smell of vanilla actually coming from him as well. Just
so is anyone paying attention to what Prospero is doing, by the way?
No, I'm entirely captivated by this fascinating discussion about this artwork.
All right, so Prospero gets that.
Yeah.
Well, no, Dumont would work up and say, "Oh, don't touch that. We don't know what that is. This is a wizard tower, after all."
I'm going to take my trouble here, I guess, in that I really have a taste for finer things, and this is nice. This is a nice thing, and I want it.
Okay, so you swap it, and you're handling it. I will give you a fate point, actually, for that. It feels slightly warm in your hand.
Okay.
And the feel of it almost reminds you for a moment more of the chitin of insects than stone.
If it feels warm, that's probably not a good sign.
What? Having put it in a bag?
I'll sort of look over my shoulder, not having realised what's going on with the amulet, just having heard that last comment from Dumas, and I'll say, that's certainly not been my experience. What a dreadfully tedious life you must have led, my friend.
So, where are the exits from this room?
You do see one door that is closed on the far side of the room, opposite of where you entered.
Yeah.
Yeah, dimensional anomaly, which seems to actually be gone now.
So try and remind everyone, we are being paid to perform a search at least. And obviously anything we pick up in the meantime is to be taken as you wish. However, just be careful. Shall we go?
I kind of just say quietly, "What could possibly go wrong?"
Andiamo.
Well, what you say? What could go wrong? The door could be locked, for instance. I'll say, raising an eyebrow. It seems logical.
I'm going to try the door.
All right, you try to the door. It opens, and it opens to a staircase, which is concealed from the rest of the room, but winds up apparently around the side of the tower.
I give a mock bow, and after you.
All right.
Oh, why, thank you. It's so rare to see a gentleman these days. Thank you very much. And I'll sashay through the door.
One moment here.
Dragano will remove his crossbow and load it and follow on after the good lady.
All right, so you begin making your way up the staircase. It is almost completely pitch black. There's just a little bit of light coming from the room down below. And up ahead is another room, another door, which is closed off to whatever exists on the next floor.
Now, surely this one is bound to be locked, I'll say, as I step up and try it.
All right. It is actually not locked. You open it, and in fact, make an athletics check.
This will be good. Paul.
Okay. You fall. You find yourself falling suddenly and slam into the ground? No, the ceiling. This is a strange room that seemingly is turned on its head. And on the floor, which is now the ceiling, you can look up and you see sort of off to the side of that your friends who are still on the staircase. And some manner of symbolic circle traced into the floor out of fragrant herbs, and it looks like maybe charcoal, and there's candles that have melted down.
As I sort of like utter a sort of small groan as I fall upwards into the ceiling, I'll just sort of shout backwards, raising my voice ever so slightly through the door. I'd be careful of that first step if I were you, gentlemen.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to make one more roll here for something. So you do see her fall into this upside down room. And there is also, sort of off to the side of this circle, a container of some sort with a silvery liquid sort of swirling within it.
A liquid, you say? Now that's definitely something I'll be interested in. If I can sort of crawl over to that without looking too terribly like I'm slumming it, then I will make my way over towards the...
So this is actually on the floor, which is the ceiling to you. So you're looking up at it.
Well, now that's terribly inconvenient.
Well, we could shoot it, I suppose.
That's your answer to everything. Now, I appreciate the fact you've got that marvelously carved gun and you like to break it out at any opportunity and prove how manly you are, but it's not the answer to every situation. It's not a miracle cure-all.
I want to point out that sometimes I steal things that aren't nailed down. It is not every answer.
Yes, I suppose you were.
Yeah,
right.
there was so there was Dumas who had I wonder what this button does. I kind of think that extends to what does this strange liquid do. So I'm compelling Dumas to actually seek out that potion.
Okay. That's fine, because I was thinking along the same lines also. The question is, how do I get to it?
That is a good question.
Let's see. So there's got to be some trick to this. Gianno, can you say what it would be? This is obviously magical, which is not what I deal with.
Yeah, I kind of, once he says that, I sort of come in from the back. I take my hands out of my pockets, and you can see my hands are very smooth and pale, and they don't look like they see the light of day much. My face doesn't either, but the hands are particularly, ghostly in their translucence. And I kind of go over to the door, and I get down on one knee, and I sort of begin to examine the doorway, the door jamb, the threshold, and look for these telltale signs of the magic that was cast and what might have created such an interesting anomaly. Does it look more like it's a side effect than an actual intent at this point, or?
So you're looking at the magic with your innate ability as a human with magical lineage, and you can see the magic dancing about, feel its buzz, and it feels like a powerful dimensional ritual was cast here, and chances are probably that this wasn't the intended result.
Yeah.
And you get the feeling that there was actually roll me a lore occult roll too, and you get an extra +2 to this.
Sure. Okay. So, here we go. Whoa, that was terrible. Yeah.
But you have no idea, like, what more this ritual would have done. Just that this strange effect was not the intended end result.
While you've been examining that, I'll have looked over at Dumar, who's sort of like, oh, how do we get up there? And I'll be like, would you like me to fly up there, Dumar, and get it?
I couldn't ask you to do something like that. It's obviously very dangerous. How high are the ceilings in this room?
About, let's say, 10 feet.
Okay, well, since I'm a Nephilim, that automatically makes me tall anyway, doesn't it?
Yes.
So 7 feet, I'd be able to.
9 feet tall.
So I might be able to reach it just standing next to Natalia.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I'll do that, but I'll change into my metal form first.
Ah. So he quickly transforms, taking a metallic form with many eyes. And you reach across for the potion carefully, making sure you don't fall into the room?
If I can. Otherwise, the idea would be to lower myself to the ceiling and move over and then reach up to it, which was why I was asking how high the ceiling is, because theoretically...
Yeah. No, you can definitely do that, since it's not catching you off guard.
Right.
All right,
And
so
go on.
you successfully lower yourself down and can definitely reach it.
As you're doing that, I'll be, you notice there's like an unaccustomed note of sort of almost sort of greed for this thing, and I'll be like, quickly, pass it down to me then. Yes, you're very tall and you're bronze. That's fantastic.
Now keep in mind that you very much want it for yourself, Dumas. This is fascinating. You at least want to know what it does one way or another.
Oh, definitely. No, it's in a bowl, right?
It's actually in a container, kind of like a what you would see essential oils in. That sort of perfume bottle type deal.
Oh, okay. So he'll take it and he'll open it and sniff it. So we need to be careful what this is.
It smells like grandma's house, old and dusty, and like the hint of cookies.
Okay, and so it looks and he'll take a taste of it on his metal tongue for what that's worth.
Oh yeah, and I make bad decisions.
Yeah. In fact, I sort of turn around and look at the only one left out. The only ones left outside the room, and I just kind of look at him. Are you really doing that?
I'll be sort of looking back over towards Prosper, and I'll be like, well, he has got a point there. It's probably not the wisest course of action.
The wisest course of action would have been to not come into this tower at all.
Yes, but we've done that now. Hurry up and bring that thing down here so we can all have a look at it.
So after he tastes it a little bit and you're observing him, you notice some wrinkles appear.
Oh.
Which is strange because Nephilim don't generally age at all, let alone that quickly.
Let's take a step back.
And after a short while, they vanish.
Okay. So Duma will hand it to Natalia. Here, Natalia, you might get some pleasure out of this.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to sort of look at it, and as someone who's well acquainted with sort of liquids and being linked with being a sort of scion of Hydra, I'm going to try and examine it, see if I get any sort of like innate sense of it sort of through the liquid as to what it is, what it might be.
Nice. You study it and make a lore occult check. If you don't have it, you can make it at a +0. Or you can invoke your species aspect, since you are kind of playing up the water.
Yeah. So I'll invoke my high concept Scion of the Sea Goddess.
So as you observe the liquid, you can see that this contains within it the tides of age, which afflict all mortals, and could at least temporarily even afflict those who do not ordinarily suffer old age, such as yourself.
I'll sort of hold it up so you can all see it with a look of wonder and sort of almost like blissful happiness on my face, my tongue flicking in and out. And I'll say, this vessel, it holds the waters of time. It holds the past and the future, time passing, the age that comes to all mortals who live in time.
So 100 gold.
Don't I'm talking gold for something as trivial as gold, for something as wonderful as this. Did you hear me? What this contains a liquefied, bottled time itself.
So platinum, then. That's what I'm hearing.
How?
I'll sort of shoot you a look, and I'll be like,
Natalia, that's very interesting. I wonder how it managed to contain time in a bottle. What we can do with that?
Maybe we can make more and sell that.
While I like the way you think, I think we may find a use for this.
All right.
Dragano was just stood there watching them and drumming his hand upon the door jamb.
as this conversation going on, I seem to have stopped paying any attention to Prospero as talking about gold. I've just sort of like screamed him out. I'm gazing at this sort of almost like captivated by this liquid that I'm slowly like swirling around in this container.
I'm going to look into the room. Is there any way that I can see out on the other side?
Yes, on the floor that has become a ceiling on the far end, there is another door where probably safe to assume that the staircase continues.
Could I give a quick look into the room and just see if there's anything else that might be valuable?
Yeah, you look around. There's herbs, melted down candles. The herbs and spices may have been very valuable at some point. However, sprinkled about in some manner of ritual like that, used up, they would be worth negligible amounts. Ian, what's your character again? Just so I make sure I have that right.
He's a rogue witch hunter, Dragano Rossi.
Right.
So I'm playing him as if he's more interested in the mission. The anything extra is, well, extra.
Definitely makes sense.
So, yeah, as soon as he realizes there's a way out the other side, he will climb down, lower himself down to the ceiling.
All right, so
make his way over.
One by one, you make your way to the upside down room. Now, the awkward thing is the door is actually above you once you're in the room.
One of us is very tall.
Natalia, would you climb on my shoulders? You can probably reach the doorknob from there.
I'll sort of catch the end of what you're saying as I'm sort of staring into this container. Sorry, Dumar, did you say something? As I sort of tear my gaze away from this liquid that I'm staring into.
Yes, if you climb on my shoulders, or if I lift you onto my shoulders, you can reach the door, I believe.
I'm not entirely sure that's strictly appropriate given our previous business relationship, but I suppose in the circumstances, Dumar, of course.
Her attire.
Someone else could do it.
Thank you, Dragano. I was hoping someone would understand, but I suppose in these circumstances, can someone hold this for me?
Sure, I'll hold it.
Can someone besides Prospero hold this for me? And I'll sort of look around at the others. Obviously, Dumarcon, he's going to have his hands full.
Yeah. Sighs and kind of holds out his hands. Here.
I'll sort of pass it over to you, and as I pass it, it's like with great reluctance as I'm sort of struggling to pass it over to you, and then I'm like, "There you go,
Precious."
Right, come on then, Dumar," and I'll sort of slowly start climbing up him to get to his shoulders, given how tall he is and the fact I'm not.
All right, so you climb Duma to reach the door, and successfully manage to get to at least up to where it's within easy reach.
I'll sort of like test the door, see if it will open or whether it's locked or anything along those lines.
You test the door, and this one actually is locked.
There you go, Prospero. I knew one of them would be locked.
I wasn't saying one of them wouldn't be.
Natalia, what happens if you reach up to the floor? If you touch it, will it? I'm just curious if you might, but be ready. Maybe you'll flip onto the floor.
I suppose I could give it a try. And I'll reach it with like a single finger gingerly and touch the ceiling.
You touch the ceiling? All right. Are you touching it where the circle is or outside the circle?
Definitely outside the circle.
Okay. You touch the ceiling and nothing happens.
No, it seems fine.
Why don't you come down and I'll try and pick the lock?
Okay, hold on a moment. Just let me climb around here and just get myself. Stop wriggling about, Duma. There we go. And I'll climb down.
I was going to perhaps suggest an alternative experiment, seeing as you are in the way of experimentation. Perhaps this time substance you have may expand the time upon the door, thus that it rots or the lock becomes rusted and falls off.
Oh, you may have something there.
All I heard is that it'll be...
That seems a rather excessive use of power for a simple door.
And it'll be less valuable, because we'll be using it. Let me see if I can pick it first.
Okay. So you're going to want to roll burglary.
Yep. Two
is not bad. It's a fairly simple lock, so you do manage to get through this one with a +2.
As he sort of picks it, I'll be in the process of going, if he fails, so let's break the water. Oh, you've done it.
Yeah. And now the door is easily accessible.
All right. So I guess repeat the process and getting up to the door.
All right. So you open it up. Who opens it up?
I'll open it because I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got to find where I put my chart here again. We got a +1. And this one actually calls for a second roll on the chart.
That's never good.
No, it's not.
No,
Watch out for ceilings.
Salt water begins to pour forth into the room from inside the door. A fish smacks you in the face.
When you say salt,
I want to say this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened, but it's not.
Is the salt water continuing to like pour in, or is it just like a?
It's pouring in, like gushing.
I'm going to try and shut the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to stand there and go, well, this is simply marvelous.
I've probably started to turn a light shade of gray, but I am master of my emotions, so there's that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so struggling on top of Duma to push the door shut.
And you're aiming for a +2 on this also.
Well,
Okay, this would be,
Is
what am I adding to this?
don't we want the water to come out?
I
Physique?
certainly do.
Yep.
Would you say that this is physique?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I got a 1.
Oh, so you don't quite manage to get the door completely closed. You're holding it shut enough. There's not quite so much of a torrent coming through, but it still is like trickling out, and you have to continue to basically hold it in place so
Right.
it won't burst forth again.
I'd like not to drown, please. Only one of us, I think, can survive that.
Was it coming out like full bore, or was it half?
Oh yeah, it was just pouring out like a torrent. Like there was a big, huge leak in the ship.
Right.
Is the room we're in actually filling with water? Or?
Oh yeah, you see now. There's about a foot of water in the room, covering.
But did the water in the other room go down at all? Did the level go down?
When you got a glimpse past it, all you saw was just blue and more blue and fish.
So it basically opened to somewhere under an ocean, let's say.
Under the sea.
I'm just going to sort of look at this water rushing out, and I'll be like, best day ever.
So Giano, make me a lore occult roll.
Sorry, who was that?
Giano, Alex,
Oh,
make me
yeah.
a lore occult roll.
I have lore and nature, and I have magicka. Would I use magicka, or is it just?
Just gonna be at a +0. It just makes the most sense that you'd probably have some idea of this.
Okay, so. So what am I using again?
Occult.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't actually have a cult.
Okay,
It
well,
looks like.
use your sense magic at a +2 then.
Okay. All right.
All right. Oh, yeah. So you did sense some sort of dimensional energies when you opened that door, like that door led to somewhere outside of the tower.
Right. Does it seem like that's what the ritual that was cast in here did, or is it again like a separate thing?
You're not sure. It could have been another side effect, or it could be related to something else that's going on in the tower. Maybe it's connected to those dimensional anomalies. The water is still trickling in since the door is not completely sealed yet, too.
Duma, I don't suppose there's anything you'd like to do to help. I mean, I'm assuming I'm sitting on your shoulders, basically, trying to hold this door shut. So,
well, does anybody have anything? Let's see. I might have something that we can use to jam the door. Maybe have a spike or something, or this is a clockwork and battery.
Duma, before you start getting your spikes out and getting all excited, why don't we just open the door, go through it, and see what's on the other side?
and if what's on the other side is nothing but water, one of us lives.
Well, Natalia can obviously go. If she can pass the torrent, though, how will you pass the torrent?
That's a really good question.
Have you never heard of certain species of fish and aquatic life who are more than capable of swimming against the current? It's a fairly trivial matter. But I wasn't going to suggest that you all follow me and drown, of course not. I was simply going to suggest you open the door, I'll nip through it, have a little look around, then you can shut the door, and if I come back, I can knock on the other side of the door, and I can come in and tell you what I've seen. How does that sound to everybody?
And what if when we close the door, you can't find it again? Just pure curiosity.
Going on your previous hypothesis that this leads to some fantastic ocean realm, how hard is a door sitting in the middle of an ocean going to be to find?
We could also let the room fill. We could let the room fill up and we could all go.
I'd be entirely all for that, but every time I mention it, you all start getting hysterical about drowning and a lack of air.
I'd really like not to drown.
Now, Gianna, one thing to keep in mind, you have beast magic, right?
Yeah.
You can do things to alter your form, too.
Oh, I know. That's why I don't mind opening the door and letting the room flood.
I did wonder. I was like, I think I've spotted the other person who's potentially going to survive this situation. He's like, yeah, let the water in, it's fine.
So the rest of us are supposed to take one for the party? Is that the idea?
You can't make an omelet without breaking eggs.
I'd like to not be eggs in this analogy.
Dragana was going to take a run and leap up and grab hold of the head of the door and climb back out of the way we came in.
Oh, going back out the other way?
Yeah. I'll just sit on the threshold and watch.
Okay. So you're kind of looking down at this room that is very, very slowly still filling with water.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea, Dragana. Why didn't the rest of you join Dragana up there? And I can
because I'm trying not to let torrents of water into the room. Yes, this is helping.
But if you're not in here, that's not a problem anymore.
Why don't the rest of us try and get onto the... Maybe we can get to inside the circle. If the magic is still active, then maybe we can hide there and the water will just flow along the floor and out down the stairs on the other side. Sorry, flow along the ceiling and out the door.
Now I'm not saying that's not a fantastic idea. Oh, my apologies, Gianno. Please go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Now, would I know a way to disable an open portal or an open gate?
It
Like
varies.
to break it somehow.
Sometimes if you cast anti-magic against it, if you had dimensional magic, theoretically you could cast another dimensional spell to close it.
Okay.
It might be that it changes every time the door is closed, or it could just stay put. It's unfortunately
Oh, okay.
there's no inconsistent that you have to experiment.
Okay.
I
All right,
know this doesn't sound like an extremely odd request. I don't suppose that anyone has any drawing materials, a piece of charcoal perhaps. Chalk, I appreciate I'm reaching here, you fellows not being patrons of the arts, but I just thought I'd ask.
John, actually, it would make sense for you to have some sort of art supplies of your choice with you, considering what your character is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to rub their nose in it by going, you're obviously not called Chiaroscuro, any more supplies, No? Ah, well, let me just check inside my immaculately designed pockets here.
Oh, sure. Draw pictures. Well, there's still water flowing into the room. Thank you. This is helping.
Yeah, I'm going to say you have basically 3 actions until the room is really full.
Well, will the room fill, or is it going to go out the door on the opposite side?
You'll find out.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
whilst they're all getting into a dreadful panic about this piffling amount of water that's pouring into the room, I'm going to take out my art supplies, simply producing them from some other dimension that hides within the form-fitting dress I'm wearing, and then But basically, what my plan is to duck down under the water, and what I want to do is I want to start sort of drawing almost like a sort of a whirlpool pattern on the floor. And basically, my plan is to draw that out, to effectively draw a whirlpool near where this water's cascading in, so that as I'm sort of doing it, I can concentrate on sort of breathing the life into this, so the water will come in and go into that whirlpool, if you see what I'm saying, rather than flooding the room and they can all start panicking.
All right. So you yeah, I won't make you spend a fate point for that. That's cool. So you start drawing this, and you notice as you're using your divine abilities that it begins to do exactly what you're drawing. Draw a train.
So yeah, so as I sort of duck under the water, I disappear for a moment. There's like a shimmering of silver as I do so. Then gradually, the sort of water starts to go down ever so slightly, sort of spiraling around, almost like someone's like pulled a plug out of a bath, effectively, and it's just like down into this sort of quite convincing and sort of animated whirlpool that I've sketched on the bottom of the floor of this room.
Cool. Yeah, so now you have the door with the stream of steady water is just going down this drain.
There you go. Now everyone can stop panicking. I've saved the day. Don't worry about it.
Was that so difficult?
Well, it's not my best work, I'll give you that, but needs must.
Excuse me while I check my powder.
Do you have some powder? I could actually use some at the moment. Oh, you're joking, I see.
No, I could explain to you how, guns work, but no, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, not well at all in water or even high humidity.
True.
Yeah. I think yours even has the aspect water as my bane, but I can't remember.
It's high humidity, but yes.
Okay, so the imminent matter of the water has been dealt with. Do we now want to explore beyond the door? Do we want to do something else?
Yeah,
I think
you have the
perhaps
door
we
back
should.
where you came, and you have the watery door ahead.
Yeah. I believe we should check into the water. I will go with you.
All right. Well, I will back up from the door then, I suppose, and let the torrent commence.
It's
right.
fine. It'll go into the whirlpool. Don't panic yourself, Prospero. If it'll help you any at all, and I'll take out some sort of coins, like loose change, from my pockets and just like throw them at his feet. And go, there you go. Hide those in your pockets if it'll help calm him down.
As you let the door fully open, you've basically created a waterfall in this room.
Right.
Nice.
Duma's going to look up at the ceiling. Can Duma jump to the floor, theoretically?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, so he'd like to try and move towards the center then and jump to the, he's got to touch everything, right? So he wants to try and get into the center of the circle to get a better look at everything that's in there.
Okay.
You try and
so you leap up and you actually sort of like thud into the center of the circle where it feels like gravity is actually normal in the center of the circle, but you do feel kind of a buzz of energy as you hit there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I'm on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm dry. See, I thought this place had a logic to it. And so is there anything else in this circle? You said there were burnt out candles, herbs.
Actually, that's a good question. Let me look at something really quick, because maybe there is.
And I guess the question is, to Gianno, if I break the circle, what will happen? Anything?
Yes, there is, actually. Sorry to interrupt, but there is a small canister of some sort, sealed, tube in shape, made out of some sort of metal.
Ooh, interesting. So it's a canister. There's a canister here.
I just lost somebody, so I'll send him another.
Okay.
Invite.
Has the canister got any water in it?
I don't know yet. He shakes.
You shake it around. You do hear a liquid.
It seems to. Shall I open it? Which of course.
Yes, of course.
I was gonna. He's gonna do it anyway, right? Touch all the shinies.
I am heading back for the other doorway as he's doing this because I'm not sure I want to be
so
caught.
You can head back for the other doorway.
Yeah. I'll offer you my hand to pull you up, Prospero.
Thank you.
So Duma opens. It's a jar, you said, right? A metal jar. Okay, so Duma opens it.
You open it up. Inside, there's this smell of salt water, and in it, swimming around, is this sort of slug-like creature, but it's very brilliantly colored, bright, vibrant electric blue, and there's sort of a strange little like fringe of tendrils running down its back.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's very small, maybe 2 inches in size.
Natalia, do you know what this is? And I hold it up, above my head with the opening facing her.
I'll sort of have a look at it and see if with my association with the sort of seas and just general knowledge, I'm no expert, but I'll see if it looks familiar to me or it's anything I'm likely to have encountered before.
Do a lore nature, actually.
No, I've no idea what it is.
Nope.
It looks fantastic, though. Look at that blue.
It is a beautiful creature, isn't it? And with these, anyway, but it's in seawater. I wonder if that's related to the spell. So I'll close the jar and say, Gianno, take a look at this, and toss it to Gianno.
So yeah, so I'll
it's a metal jar.
So yeah, Gianno gets a metal jar.
So I kind of grab it. Slightly annoyed that he tossed it to me, but I look inside at this creature, and in fact I do have
Lore nature.
Lore nature, yeah. So
you're gonna get
here.
I'll be sort of peering over your shoulder as you're looking at it.
See, Prospero, we can distract her from the water.
Well done.
All right.
Done.
So Gianno, you know that this creature is a nudibranch of some sort. It's a little like sea slug type thing.
Okay.
The fringes are actually how it breathes, but there's something strange about this. You're looking at sort of like an appendage that it has on its mouth, and you get the impression that it latches on to other things, maybe.
So it could more like a lamprey or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I look at it and say, it's a slug, a sea slug.
Well done. Well done.
I say,
I wish I'd been born with your keen powers of observation.
I look at him in a not joking way. I say, or her. I say, I wasn't finished. If you look at the front, the mouth, much like the lamprey, it looks like it could attach itself to another creature and drain its blood.
Oh, now that is interesting.
So we're sealing the jar, right?
He continues to look at it and he kind of puts his hand near it, almost as if he might put his hand into the water, but doesn't. As he's sort of like moving his hand over it, in a almost like a gentle fashion.
And Duma says, touch it. You have 10 fingers.
Yeah, it sort of goes towards you and seems to slowly, almost with curiosity, reach out to you. But
yeah, that's what he was sort of looking for. Yeah.
What Dumar said.
Why do I always have to be in the camp of don't do that? That's probably a dumb idea, unless there's money involved.
So I will put the lid back on this creature. Although I do memorize as much as I can about it as I'm looking at it for future shape-shifting possibilities.
Well, if you're not going to try and handle the thing, pass it over here.
Or we could do something like seal it with wax and deal with it later.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it, but I say I wouldn't recommend it, but I hold it up to her.
Okay. But how could we not look at the thing? It's so beautiful, hidden away in that jar, just waiting for us to find it. Look at how beautiful it is. How can you stand not to touch a creature like that?
It was in there for a reason.
So many reasons.
Did you know that I say, did you know that the human body can be drained of all its blood in a matter of minutes with proper suction?
That's the kind of thing that I could go without knowing. But yes, I believe that.
And yes, I did know that as a matter of fact, but I don't have a human body to hand, so...
Okay. Dragano lifts his legs up away from the water level and stands on the threshold, looking in.
I'm with him.
Yeah, you see them messing around with this slug-like thing and then sealing a metal container, rather.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Jenna, what will happen if I break the circle?
I sigh and I kind of get down on the floor and look at the and look at the circle itself. See what I can discern about the energies involved in it. Is it still heavily active, or is it still just residual?
You know what? I'm gonna give you a fate point for I'm not one of your bookish university mages. Occult lore is actually not really your strong suit. There's some things that just make sense as a basic mage you would know, but this you're just like, you know what? It can't be that difficult to deal with. I think breaking the circle would be fine. Maybe it would get rid of the water issue too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of look at it and I reach into my kind of pull back my coat and along my side you see some tools, not lockpicking tools, not any tools you'd recognize even. Although one is vaguely chisel-like, and he pulls it up. Says, "Let us see," and he sticks it into the stone and drags it across the circle.
I will look absolutely horrified as he vandalizes this place.
Something will happen. Just a moment. If I don't roll the same thing over and over again, because. Nope. Oh my god, it wants to be +0 every time. +0. I might have to use a different dice program. Oh, there we go. All right. You pierce that, and there is a flash of light. As the light clears, you find yourself surrounded by a soft, glowing mist. The earth underneath your feet is very sort of moist and feels squishy. You hear some... you swear you hear whispers off in the distance.
Does this happen to all of us?
Yes.
Ah.
Suddenly you feel a sense of motion in the flash of light, and then you see this.
I'm going to look around and...
It's a much better way of travel than horseback.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just mist and more mist from what you can see, but obscuring your vision, you can't see that super far.
So are we all on the same ground level now?
You are all on the same ground level, yes.
Right.
But it's literally ground. Unless it's stone that feels like ground?
It kind of feels like squishy earth.
Okay.
Well, this is so much better than the water.
I agree for once.
I was being sarcastic, Prospero.
I do know a bit
I
about
know.
phantasms, so I do kind of sort of glance at it with a critical eye just to discern if it might be illusory as opposed to a real thing. I mean, there's a good chance it's real, but
Yeah,
I never assume.
It feels very real, at least. Really convincing delusion could feel really real, but it's pretty convincing.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much. Let's
All right,
see.
since we're surrounded by this mist on all sides, had we may as well just not pick a direction.
Ian, I am compelling your trouble that you've burned many bridges. That's yours, right?
Yeah.
So you look on the ground and you see an torn up cloak, it looks like, or a tabard maybe. And as you examine it, you can see that there is a symbol on it of a knight driving a sword down through a dragon. And you now smell like a hint of iron in the air and see that there's footprints. You've known some members of the Blood of Adam and have had falling outs with them in a very big way. You've made enemies with them. This is definitely a Blood of Adam symbol, and it appears that a member of their group is injured and here somewhere.
I'll take the compel. See this tabard? This is a tabard of the Blood of Adam. The Order of the Blood of Adam. I have a score to settle with them. Looks like one of them is injured. I shall
out
be
of
back.
character. Out of character, but what does that mean?
They are basically human supremacists. However, in Bologna, they're mostly law-abiding and do the duty of hunting down dangerous warlocks and monsters. So they're monster hunters, but they're monster hunters with politics that a lot of people don't like.
Fair enough.
They're excessive in their means. Even more excessive. Yeah. Which is partly the reason I left. If one is still alive, I should investigate and perhaps put him out of his misery.
I will certainly follow and help as you need, although given the mist, I'm assuming Rosa is not the best option, so I'll load up my short bow. Yes.
Okay. So, do you start to follow those footprints, Ian?
I shall indeed, drawing my rapier.
So you follow those footprints until you see rising out of the mist what looks like a maze of just old stone ruins. As you look up into the sky through the mist, the moon looks like a sliver, a sharp sliver dripping blood. This area smells very much more and more like wet iron and just old, musty, rotting earth.
This is more like a battlefield.
Yeah.
Or a surrealist painting.
I've known some of both.
I shall drop down to one knee and feel the ground. Take off my glove on my left hand and just is it grass or is it some other
It's
substance?
moist, almost swampy feeling earth underneath.
Take out a handkerchief and clean my hand off and then replace my glove. And
And as you wipe your hand, you kind of look to the side and you notice that near where the blood of Adam footprints are, converging towards it are large hooves, just two.
I shall call, Adamite, where are you? And head off after the footprints, hoof prints.
Yeah, and looking up ahead, it does look like there was some sort of struggle that went down, maybe.
You know what? You said it's Misty, right?
Yeah, it's misty.
So, hooray, partial air person. I'm going to say that master of my emotions, I become less substantial, so I can be a little more stealthy and follow after him.
Okay, so you're following off after him stealthy. How are the others going along, though?
I'm always going to go last if possible.
Okay.
So I
So
wait till everyone else
you move forward.
move forward.
Are you approaching the maze of ruins?
Is that where the footprints go?
Yes.
I'm following after him, and if that's where he's going, then yes.
Sure, if that's the way the trail leads.
All right. So you approach and off to the side somewhat as you sort of enter the first section of ruins. They look like very ancient Romanesque buildings. You hear a groan off to the side, and you see a man that looks like he's been a bit shredded up, sort of in fetal position almost. He's very muddy and bloody.
I shall approach cautiously.
All right.
Adamite.
He turns and looks, and a look of sort of anger and just recognition passes over his face. You recognize this individual as a man named Carlo, who you've actually you had actually hunted with him before. He definitely is someone who's taken an ill approach to you. And he looks up at you and says, in the pit of hell, and I see you here, of course. Go figure it.
I can smile down at him.
Are you a demon come to finish me off?
Speak not of me as a demon, Carlo. Perhaps I'm here to finish you off, but I'm intrigued as to what became, what befell you, what fate.
I was hunting a mage, and he summoned a creature, which I tracked here. It is a fiend called Cethariel. A creature that usually is cunning and speaks in riddles and offers forbidden knowledge, but he knows that we are not going to fall prey to any of such treacherous filth, and took more of a brute force approach to dealing with me.
Speaks in riddles? Sounds like Natalia.
Flattery will get you absolutely everywhere.
I thought she speaks in sarcasm.
Riddles are my second language.
But he looks back up at you and says, if I am to die in this place, I wish not your face to be the last I see. On with you.
Well, where did the mage go?
He points around a corner and towards the further into the ruins. He says, I'm sure he's headed towards the center of whatever this is.
And did you see a young nobleman by chance, Lucas?
He says he was... It seems familiar. There was a nobleman within the tower that I first entered after this mage. He was poking around in what looked like a laboratory. decided that I did not want to particularly socialize with him at the moment, as I had other concerns. I hope you would understand a demon is much more important.
Of course, of course. Well, it sounds like we need to go around the corner then, if we have no other leads. Are you sure you don't want to come with us?
He says, not with, he looks at you. No, I do not.
As they're saying this, I'm going to sort of step out from behind Dumar, and as I do so, I'm going to try and use my sort of Hydra's passion ability on him, and I'm going to say in sort of like a slightly more sort of less sure voice than I would do normally. And I'll say, it would settle my heart greatly if you could actually come with us. After all, I could certainly use a person of your extreme strength and caliber as a bodyguard on a mission like this. After all, who's going to keep me safe from these brigands? Never mind these demons that you speak of.
So you're engendering a particular form of insanity when you do this.
Yeah, I'm trying to effectively sort of give him like a sort of overwhelming, like protective urge towards myself,
okay,
if that's possible.
So obsessive fanboy.
Indeed.
He looks up at you and smiles longingly, suddenly, and gets up and says, "Oh, for you, my lady, I would do anything.
Why, thank you.
I will never leave your side."
Well then, shall we all go?
He gets up and he limps forward by your side. He has a large crossbow and a short sword as well. Tattered leather armor, very tattered. And he is definitely bleeding from the shoulder where there are deep claw marks.
I'm going to make a very basic attempt. I'll tear off a bit of my dress, etc., if I need to, just to sort of like bandage over the wound he's got. It won't really do a great deal, but just stop him like bleeding everywhere. That'd be terribly messy.
He kind of smiles, looking a little pale, and says, "Of course you are a lady of many talents."
Oh, why, thank you. It's so rare to meet a cultured gentleman in a place like this. But lead on, Sir Knight, and I will follow. And I'll sort of gently lay a hand on his shoulder, so I'm sort of steering him, but trying to make him think that he's in front doing the leading.
All right. He limps onwards past.
I'll step in his way. I'm going to step in his way for a second, and just say, "Look, stare him in the eyes. You step out of line, and I shall kill you myself."
He looks at you angrily, but with slight dread because he's in bad condition, and then looks towards Natalia and says, "Just don't lay a finger on the lady, and we are okay with one another for now."
I shall nod and let him pass. If he wants to go first, fine.
So limping towards what ends up being the center of basically a labyrinthine town of ruins, you see through the mist, a large black tree. The smell of rot becomes stronger, so make physique checks.
Okay.
Is this for all of us?
Yep. And I guess I should for the dude too.
Okay.
Dude.
Got a +2.
+2 or better is fine. A few people are probably hurling. So who got?
I got a +3.
I was on.
So a few people that got lower than +2, they just can't take the smell, and you throw up a little bit. It's just that overwhelmingly noxious.
Since I'm a cunning courtesan, I'm going to try and turn my sort of throwing up and sort of probably reeling over into a sort of a slightly more sort of feminine swoon, effectively.
Are you feeling all right, Natalia?
I'm going to
The knight hands you a handkerchief. Sorry, what were you saying?
Thank you, kind sir.
I'd like to tag my rogue bounty hunter aspect.
Oh,
Being tougher than I actually rolled on that roll.
okay. So you invoke that and manage not to even throw up in your mouth a little.
Yeah, I succeed.
Now, those of you who throw up have the situation aspect now nauseated. And as you continue to walk forward more, the ground turns more slushy. and you have this realization that you're walking through very, very old slush of organic matter. And on a great, just knotted black tree up ahead, the mist turns slightly darker, and it looks like there's things covering the tree here and there. You can't quite tell what they are until you get a little closer, and then you think that they're the shells of various large insects that have come here to shed their skins.
If I can sort of self-compel my finds hidden beauty aspect here, I'm going to say that my character sort of sees a certain like macabre beauty and sort of composition to this entire scene, and almost forgetting the fact she's just delicately vomited. And I've got this sort of limping knight next to me. I was going to sort of take my hand off his shoulder and then head forward quite rapidly, sort of dodging around people, sort of throwing caution to the wind just to try and get close so I can have a look at this amazing sort of tableau that's unfolding in front of me.
So you are taking a look at this tree up close, and as you do, you can see some things partially merged into it. One is the form of a man who seems to be in deep contemplation. Not far from him is a large humanoid beast, about 10 feet tall, with massive feathered wings and a head that is like the skull of a bird. And it seems to be in almost a sleeping state. You also do see here and there that there are some things that appear to be doorways. Like large knots within the tree that you could actually enter.
As I sort of see this incredibly sort of statuesque and yet oddly sort of grotesque thing, since, as I said in the self-compel, I'm sort of captivated by the sort of twisted beauty of the whole scene. I'll be very slowly sort of going.
These openings, these are openings big enough for like a human to go into.
Yes, even something larger than a human to go into. And as Natalia reaches forward, the hand of the creature with the skull-like head reaches out and strangely gently grasps your wrist. And you see this.
Is this the part where we burn the tree down?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's an abomination.
And as you're discussing this, it says, "What manner of enlightenment do you seek, half-mortal?"
I'm just going to say I seek no enlightenment whatsoever. I was simply captivated by the magnificence of your form.
The skull sort of lights up slightly through the eye sockets, a gleaming fire within. It says, "No half-mortal has said such a thing, but surely the goal of all life is to seek to ascend to a higher state of being."
Well, yes, eventually, of course, but there's so many other things to look at before that happens.
It says, "There are many gates here which would allow you to enter different places where perhaps you may find the great beauty you seek. I know where such things lead, but nothing is given without something else being taken."
I sort of lean forward with my eyes narrowing a little, and I say, "And so if you are the gatekeeper of this place, what is it you ask for to send people on to their enlightenment?"
You seek to increase beauty in the world. I care not so much for that, but I do know of one who does. I would pass on this deal to her, and we would be even. Would you beautify one's form for them and show them the true meaning of pleasure and agony and how they are as one?
If you knew me, you would not even need to ask me that question.
Very well. There is a man named Marius Scarlatti. He has grown old, but made a deal with this fiend long ago. he did not carry out his side of the bargain. He needs to know the full glory of pleasure and beauty and agony as one. Make him know this. His form must be twisted beyond humanity.
I'll sort of smile, and there's a bit of an odd glint to my eyes. I'm smiling, and I say, well, I think, my good gatekeeper, we can consider that a bargain.
Suddenly, the scroll materializes in the air before you. The fiend takes a claw and slits his wrist and then uses the blood to write his signature and says, "My lady, yours must be sealed in the same manner."
Well, it's a trifle old-fashioned, but I suppose if there's protocol and these things have to be done, and I'll take this thing and I'll very gently just sort of nick the edge of my own arm and then in sort of immaculately calligraphied writing.
The scroll catches fire once you are done and disintegrates into ash. The fiend says, "The portals, one of them will lead you back to where you have came, or at least somewhere close. One will lead you deep within my realm. Another will bring you to random roll." Just 1 second. Let's see what it says. To the fate of the city from which you come. You shall see it. You shall bear witness.
Oh, now that sounds interesting. Which just
points out where each of these is.
Oh, so that's the one about the fate of the city. I'm going to sort of look at the others with a look of like, guys, what are you waiting for? Fate of the city through there.
What about young Lucas, who we were paid to find?
I can't help but think we're deviating a bit much from our assigned path.
Oh, yes, Lucas.
Noble sign. We've made deals with demons on the way, found knights that slay dragons, of which we have one in our party along the way. Just little things here and there.
Look, you can't bring me to a place like this and not expect me not to get slightly distracted. After all, giant fountains, whirlpools, magnificent creatures like this, knights.
You and I have very different definitions of magnificent.
The blood of Adam Knight says, "My lady, do you not fear for your soul, or is one so lovely as you immune to the errors of such creatures?"
Yes, the second one, that's it. I sort of wave my hand as I'm sort of like, I've just remembered you're still there. I was talking to this creature here. But you can't expect me to remember some piffling noble son. But after all, this what was saying, Lucas, he is the son of Marius, who is the very person I've just been discussing with this gentleman here.
Wait. We're still getting paid if we do this, right?
I presume so. I keep about as much track of that as I keep track of this Lucas, was it?
Presumption is not a yes.
We have a contract.
Right.
I agree. We've been paid for a specific purpose. This was not it.
This is the ladies' contract.
Do we have any idea where this Lucas is, even remotely?
He's somewhere in here.
That is likely.
Excuse me, gatekeeper. I'm terribly sorry about this, but if we go in there and we look for the son of the gentleman who you wish me to teach the meaning of agony to, which I'm sure you'll agree that potentially losing one's son is a good start along that step. If we were to go and look for this young human in this rather impressive and very well carved maze that's over there, would we still be able to go through these gateways when we returned?
Yes.
Well, there we are. Everyone's happy.
I don't think I didn't notice that part where you were talking about killing him. Just,
Oh, it was a simple misunderstanding, just a slip of the tongue.
a forked tongue. I'm just throwing it out there.
It is made of silver. I thought at least you'd appreciate that.
I do, actually. I really do.
Anyway, since you're all so excited to get into this maze and find this Lucas, was it? Why don't we all head in there now? After all, as far as I'm concerned, the sooner we find him, the sooner I can pick one of these marvelous doors here to go through.
I can't argue with that.
Can you guys still see me? The screen went out for a second.
Yep.
Yep, you're right.
Well, can I say, Gatekeeper, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I think we're going to go and take a little jaunt into this maze now, but I'm sure we'll be back very shortly.
It nods and says, yes, do not forget our deal as the old man has.
Oh, don't you worry. I won't forget it at all. In fact, I'm quite looking forward to it.
I'm sure you are.
All right. So which path do you choose?
How many are there other than the 3 that have been pointed out?
There's a couple more you see that you can inquire about if you desire.
Sure.
Do we have anything of the of this son? Like any of his possessions, anything of that nature?
Oh, being a mage, he would have handed you something. Let us say that he handed you a pendant that looks like a rose, which he had planned to gift to a lady.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this thing, and I am as we're sort of trying to decide which way to go, I take my hand on my face and I start kind of like doing this to it over and over again, and the area around my head begins to sort of like melt and distort. You see, one time when I pull down, you see the front of my face becomes to be drawn out into a snout, like a canine sort of shape, and hopefully I assume I have to roll for that, right?
Yes, you want to roll Magicka and mark down that you've used 1 point of Ka.
Right. All right. Let's hope the fate dice are kind to me today.
I think you only need a +2.
That doesn't mean they're going to be kind. I got +3.
Okay. So yeah, your face transforms is becoming more dog-like. Your scent is keen. So I would say you can track by smell and have a +2 to smell-related things. The smell of rotten area also becomes stronger, however.
It does. It does. I was aware of that too.
Then again, you're a dog, and dogs like the smell of weird things.
Also true. So I kind of put my other hand like this. I hold the item and I go.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
Hey. You hear my voice slightly distorted coming from the snout. I say, you should see how I say hello.
Maybe later.
And he gives the first little laugh you've ever seen him give, and it's somewhat unsettling with the rows of canine teeth. So I'm trying to point us in the right direction as far as where the scent goes.
Okay. So you're smelling around, and you do vaguely, as you're smelling around the one that just leads back to where you were somewhere in the tower anyways, somewhere nearby, you vaguely get a hint of it there.
So heading back, but not into the ruins?
Not into the ruins, heading through the big, huge knot in the tree.
Oh, okay. All right. So so I look around and I say, and finally I get there and I say, I think this is our way, and I point to the particular knot in question.
Sounds good.
He's not in there.
Andiamo.
All right. So do you walk through that passageway?
Well, I don't go first. No.
Okay.
I'll go first. It's fine.
I don't do that.
So you begin to walk towards that entrance in the tree, feeling like a little bit of fear as you do, sort of engendered up within, as if there's an instinctive wrongness about this this thing that is growing up before you. And you step into the tunnel and emerge within what appears to be a library. And once everyone is through, I'll describe what everyone sees.
Yeah,
Does anyone hesitate to not follow? The knight sort of hesitates, but goes through.
No, the sooner I get out of this place, the better.
Yeah. I will definitely be going through last, but I will definitely be going through.
All right. So on the other side, you see a library. However, the odd thing about this room is that it lacks gravity. So suddenly you are floating around. Books are floating off their shelves all over the place. You do smell faintly the smell of the noble son, the captain over here.
Okay.
And a handkerchief sort of drifts near your nose that it's even stronger on.
Oh, okay.
Well, I can put my bow away and take Rosa back out, which is good.
Just a quick question. If you fire that thing, Prospero, aren't you going to find yourself rapidly heading in the opposite direction?
That may actually be a good method of transportation. Thank you, Natalia.
Yeah, you're sort of drifting around. It's very strange. To some of you, at least all of you who are not used to being airborne, it's a little disconcerting and almost nauseating, and you're already nauseated, so it's like, ugh.
Curious.
In fact, who still has the nauseated situation aspect?
I do, however, I'm used to flying.
You are, so I can't, it wouldn't really happen. Otherwise, it would be amusing. You do see actually another canister floating around in here too, a small canister like what you saw in the ritual room.
Well, I'm used to flying, and I'm going to get it, because why not? Because it's valuable, and I'm not going to let these people play around with it anymore. Just going to stick that in a pouch.
So who's that? My screen is kind of wigging out, so I didn't
Sorry.
was talking.
Prospero.
I would like to.
Okay.
I would like to, if I can, I'd like to compel my fine hidden beauty to say that I'm very much, without a roll, not going to notice the canister or Prospero because I'm so enraptured by the gravity and all these books floating around.
I'm not going to
entirely don't notice him snagging it.
Well, and if Duma noticed it, he would immediately say, "Oh wait, another jar. Let's see what's in this one." And so he would reach for it also because he's got to touch all the shinies.
Oh, this is nice. So both of you make athletics check, Prospero and.
Sure. Let's make this happen.
Whoever rolls higher gets it.
Oh, it's an old school zero gravity race off.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Average.
So you both awkwardly get over there at the same time, and you both have it
Nice.
like hands on it.
I think we should seal it with wax and open it later. You can touch the shiny thing then.
It is very much sealed right now, though. It's
Oh, okay.
a metal canister with a lid firmly placed on it. Otherwise, its contents would definitely be spilling out.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. So we can't see inside it then. It's just a metal canister.
Yeah, just a metal canister, probably made out of steel.
Hmm.
Okay, so do we have at least a little bit of propulsion from the entry point?
Yeah, but you're kind of losing it.
Drifting slowly to try and grab hold of something. I use the rapier to push myself off solid objects in the direction towards the other room. That's the end of the room.
All right, at the end of the room, there is indeed another door. And as you push yourself towards there, a couple books sort of smack you in the face.
I'm just going to be sort of floating along, sort of on with my back facing down towards the floor, effectively looking at one of these books. I'll grab like quite peacefully. Like.
You grab a book. It is called the Decameron.
I'll start leafing through it.
It's very morbid but humorous.
That's you in a nutshell.
Is there? Duma would look to see. Is there anything that would draw Prospero's attention?
Oh, let's see. Other than the
Anything
canister.
Any tables? Anything on gold candlesticks, brass candlesticks?
Something valuable.
Yeah, there's a vial of ink which is now spilling forth and sort of spreading around where it's at in the air. There's a feather quill pen and some pieces of parchment floating around. There is a small table and some chairs floating too. Of course, some shelves that you guys have been trying to avoid, like running into.
Right.
So Duma says, "Look, Prospero, another piece of jewelry with some sort of gem."
What?
And as he looks, Duma takes the jar and puts it in his bag.
Damn it!
Okay.
Oh, it went away.
It must be around here somewhere. I'll find it. Don't think I don't know that you have that jar.
So, Dragano, you manage while these guys are goofing off to make it to the other door.
Yeah, I shall wait for them. I won't risk opening it just yet.
Okay.
I'll eventually sort of drift into the area where you are because I've just sort of pushed myself up and I've been reading a book past the time on my way towards where you are. That's okay.
Duma's going to push himself that way by pushing off the books, I guess, to try and accelerate in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, you push off and manage to go sort of thrusting that way. Make an athletics check. Oh. Let's see. So you managed to avoid going too fast and just running right into Dragano.
Probably a good thing since I'm in metallic form.
Yeah. Makes you a little denser and heavier.
Whoa, which way are you going?
Okay.
Right. Is everyone here?
I'm here.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey.
Then I shall try this door.
Okay. You open the door, and this one actually leads up to another staircase, which is concealed behind the wall, so it would be going up around the tower again.
Ah, I think we're back where we're meant to be.
Is there any gravity on the sort of stairs, or is it all
There
still
is.
zero?
Suddenly there is. It's like you go from the room where there's none, and then suddenly it's normal.
Onwards and upwards.
Was
Lead the way.
Was there anything remotely valuable in the room that I was swimming around looking for while they were doing this?
Maybe some of the books.
I'll take it.
Okay, so you grab how many books?
I don't know, 3 or 4, I guess. Stuff them in my bag.
Let's say you grab 3.
Sure.
Now, in the stairwell, you actually see some viscous goo on these stone stairs.
Color?
Does it give,
Oh, say again. Sorry, I missed that.
Is it blood?
No, it's sort of it's clear and gelatinous looking.
does it give off any smell?
It gives off actually no smell at all.
That looks like something to be poked at from afar.
Yeah. How about to my keener nose? Do I pick up anything from that?
You sniff it and it smells exceptionally clean.
Okay.
Very, very odorless, and there's a sterile quality to it.
And the young man's scent, is that still here?
You do catch a whiff of it.
Okay.
The actual sort of stone stairs that this goo's covering, does the stone underneath look clean?
Yes, it looks spotlessly clean.
I suggest we don't touch that.
I'm going to stick an arrow in it from a little bit further away and see what happens.
Are you just sticking the arrowhead or the whole arrow on it?
I'm going, I'm standing far enough away from it, and then I poke it with the arrowhead, and if nothing happens, then I'll actually poke it with as much of the arrow as can go in it without me touching it.
Okay, so you poke it with the arrowhead, nothing happens.
Okay.
You poke it with any of the wooden part or anything?
Yeah. Again, I want to stick it as far in there as I can without it actually touching me.
So once it hits the wood, it sort of does seem to sizzle slightly.
Looks like some sort of caustic material.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
I'm actually sort of intrigued by this, so I kind of go over a little closer to it.
Okay.
I do not touch it though, and I'll kind of reach into my coat and kind of take out a little glass bottle and take out the stopper. There's a little bit of liquid left in it, which I just kind of spill out onto the floor. And I'm gonna see if I'm gonna touch the glass to it, see if the glass reacts with this substance at all.
Okay, so you touch the glass to it, it doesn't react at all.
Excellent. So I'm going to sort of move the little vial through the liquid, trying to get as much of it into it as possible.
All right. You scoop a bunch of basically very sort of seems so far maybe caustic sterilizing gel of some sort.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Does this material coat the stairs going up?
There's notable amounts of it here and there, which means walking through should be potentially an issue.
Okay, but it could hypothetically be done.
It could hypothetically be done, but yeah, watch your step.
Right.
But it doesn't affect the stone or the glass.
No.
Okay.
Well, first off, Duma, while everybody's distracted, he's going to pull out the metal canister they got from the Gravity List library and open it to see what was inside.
All right, make a athletics check as you do.
To open the jar?
No, not to open the jar. After you do open the jar.
Oh.
And this thing is nasty. So it got a +4.
Dank.
Ooh.
Oh, so something jumps at you, but you manage to pull your face away, and then it retreats back into the darkness of the canister.
Okay, closing that. That's...
And you didn't get a good look at what it was, except for it was cylindrical, sort of, and bulbous looking.
Cylindrical and bulbous.
Duma.
More globular, actually. Globular, not cylindrical.
Yes, Natalia.
This coating that's liberally scattered around the stairs, it doesn't seem to affect metal.
I know, I was thinking that. I guess I could offer to carry everybody up the stairs one at a time.
You could.
Well, it's not how I plan to spend my evening, but needs must.
Is it that bad, Natalia?
The knight looks up at you, Natalia, and says, can we talk to the side for a moment?
Oh, you're still here? Yes, of course we can.
He sort of takes you down the stairs a little way closer to the gravity-free room and whispers in your ears, you know the Nephilim can't be trusted, right? You shouldn't let him carry you up the stairs. I wouldn't let him carry me up the stairs. You might get better going back down the separate way.
And if there were any other giant statuesque people built entirely of metal, I would call on them first by preference. However, as I'm sure as a man of the world, you must appreciate that sometimes you have to make sacrifices for the greater good.
He sort of scratches his head and says, "You are wise indeed."
Well, I have my moments. Unfortunately, since your armor is not entirely metal and fully form fitting, I can't, much as I would love to, I cannot ask you to carry me up, especially not with your injuries. That would be terribly heartless of me to worsen your injuries just for my own benefit. However, I do perhaps have an alternative. Let's go back to the others, and I just need to test a theory.
He nods and says, of course.
Now, I just need to ask a quick rules question. I've got my dragon shape.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I want to ask is, obviously, I know I can use it to sort of like to turn into like a human-sized dragon.
Yep.
Which I know has armored skin. What I want to know is it possible for me briefly to partially transform part of myself?
Yeah. Sure.
Because what I'm thinking is go up to where this goo is, effectively like transform just like my arm and my hand into the sort of dragon form with the armor, and then just try sort of like dipping like the very edge of my claw in the very edge of this goo, just to see whether my armor can like take it.
Okay. And one thing to keep in mind too about this night is your passion ability eventually wears off.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if I put a specific limit, but it seems like a couple scenes probably is what makes sense.
I'm quite happy to have it wear off at whatever you deem to be a dramatic or appropriate moment.
Sounds good. So you sort of describe what you do actually.
Okay, so I walk up, and as I do, I sort of twist my arm, and it seems to sort of revolve right the way around. There's like a bit of a sort of crack of the joints as I do so, and as my arm turns around, it's almost as though silver scales sprout from my sort of forearm, and the nails appear to lengthen almost into talons, sort of silver talons at the end of it, and then I very gently just sort of dip the very tip of one of them into the goo.
The gel begins to sizzle, and if you leave it there long enough, you'll have a very noteworthy manicure.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it burn through the very tip of it, so I'm not taking any like severe harm from it.
Okay.
But just so I can sort of measure roughly how long it takes. So I'm trying to work out whether I can basically transform, dash up the stairs, and I'll be all right, or whether I'm going to get about 2 steps and I'll be like, oh no, the burny, painful goo death.
Yeah, it burns pretty quickly, so that's pretty much how it will go down.
Okay, not a problem. I'll look around and I'll be like, under my breath, but so other people can hear, I'll be like, oh, there's not really enough room for me to fly in here. I'll say as I twist my arm back around and it turns to normal. Oh, this is terribly inconvenient. I'm afraid I may have to impose on you, Dumar, to act as my chariot in this regard.
No problem, my lady. Happy to be of service.
I'm going to kind of go back and glance into the 0G library, and I'm basically looking to see what's floating around. Like, obviously, there's books and tables and so forth. Do I see anything like maybe like a serving tray that might have had tea on it or something?
Yeah, they would have those. I mean, it's a private library, so he would sit and he would have coffee. So there's a serving tray, and there's a coffee mug. Who knows where the coffee has gone to?
That's okay. I'm just gonna kind of send myself up into there to grab that floating tray.
Okay, you float up there and grab the tray.
Okay, and then I'll just sort of bring it back down and kind of look at it and say, I might be able to do something with this.
I now suddenly imagine somebody walking upstairs with trays strapped to their feet.
You imagine correctly.
Alas, you only grabbed one tray.
Hopping upstairs, then.
Hop 1 foot hopping up the stairs.
Not awkward at all.
Not very practical, I'm sure. But no, what I'm going to do is I kind of like again take out probably the same tool I had earlier, and I'm starting to sort of like just kind of jam it into the metal right along, because usually these things are made out of like really tough metal. It's not going to be like heavy steel or anything like that. Probably silver maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ruin this.
Something fairly flimsy.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna like keep stabbing at this thing, and then finally get it so I can like bend it back and forth until it breaks.
Okay.
This sort of like ragged edge along where it tore.
Nice. Yeah, it's actually fairly easy.
Yeah, and so sort of while they're all deliberating and so forth, I'm gonna kind of jam a few holes in it where I can see about secure it. Actually, no, I'm gonna probably use the handle to like tie to my foot, because the kind of holding handles on each side, so one for each foot.
While you're sort of clanging about and sort of manufacturing some metal shoes for yourself, I'm just gonna sort of raise an eyebrow and look at Duma and then say, "Shall we?"
Yeah, of course. So,
So who goes up first?
Duma with Natalia.
Okay. So you begin to venture up, making it over this sludge safely, because with your various contraptions and a metal man able to lift somebody up, it's not difficult to get to the door at the other end of the stairway. Beyond, you think for a moment you may have heard singing, but then you sort of listen and can't quite make it out anymore.
Natalia, do you recognize the song?
Oh, let me listen for a moment, and with my sort of knowledge of the arts, I'm going to listen and see if it's a familiar or a popular melody.
All right, you listen, and you have to like kind of press your ear to the door, but you get that somebody in a very like maniacal, off-key, horrible singing voice is singing "Three Blind Mice."
Yes, it's a popular child's nursery rhyme about it. 3 rodents who get their tails chopped off with a carving knife. It's not the catchiest ditty, and the person's not really carrying it well. They've dropped a few flat notes on the second bar, but no one's perfect, I suppose.
I'll keep that in mind.
Is the door locked?
Do you try it?
Sure.
You jiggle it, and there's a very piercing sound once you do so. Everyone make a physique check.
Okay.
It's a shrill, piercing, just like stab you in the ears sort of sound. And you want to make a 3 or better.
I got a 3.
Nope.
So those who fail take a point of physical stress and have the situation aspect deafened.
Oh, lovely.
It is
What?
the nausea
Let's see.
aspect is now gone, however. I need
Oh, that's good. 2.
Ian,
Yes.
what did you get?
I
you got-
ended up with a +3. Yeah.
all right, so you're not deafened, and you can make a notice check.
I'm also not deafened.
Okay, you can make a notice check too. I only got a mediocre.
Well, let's see what happens. I also got a mediocre. Hooray!
Okay, so you don't notice what he's doing, but I'm going to take advantage of that, Ian. Oh no,
Yeah,
got a
that's fair.
you see that the knight has approached behind you with his sword out and is going to just about drive it through your back. You can defend yourself,
Okay.
being able to take advantage of it.
Um,
I shall kick him rather than strike.
and Duma, I guess theoretically should have seen that because he's got 360-degree vision.
Oh, yes. Yes, he does. So you did see that, and you could have shouted a warning, too, if you failed. He attempts to strike you in the back, and how do you defend yourself?
I will spin you using a defensive riposte motion just to turn his blade. and kick him in the midriff so he falls back down the stairs.
All right, so you're going to try to create an advantage on your turn now to kick him down. All right, he's going to defend against that, and you're going to want to roll attack. Or create an advantage with fight, sorry.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy is, well, he's rolling okay. Not awesome. Okay, so he attempts to dodge aside.
Yeah.
But loses his footing and falls back down the stairs into the anti-gravity room and is now floating awkwardly back. And he begins to swear angrily at you for being a traitor and
me a traitor.
Showing loyalty to people who sign pacts with demons. And he's going to attempt to make it back through the room.
Times have changed, Carlos.
He manages to make it back just to the bottom of the stairs. Now it's your action. And he's looking at you with rage. Is anybody else doing a point as well?
I'm still facing the door and aware this entire thing's going on.
Okay.
I could see there's no way to talk him down, so I shall run him through. Take a couple of quick steps down and skewer him, push him off the end of my blade.
I'm going to stay at the top of the stairs where there isn't flesh-eating goo, and then I'm going to shoot him.
All right, so you tie, which means that he manages to dodge aside, but he's a little off balance, so you get a +2 on your next attack or defense against him. You get a boost. And then somebody else is going to take an action and try to just like take a step up, avoiding the goo, and then shoot at him.
Yep.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Okay. You strike him, nailing him in the shoulder, and he begins to bleed, and he lets out a little cry of pain. And he bites his lip, retaliating, and actually striking still angrily at Ian with +1. And you have, if you want, you can use a +2 against that, but it's not a very good roll.
We'll see.
You know what? I'm actually using a fate point of my own that vengeance shall be mine, and I'm going to re-roll that.
Ooh.
And then I get a +5.
Hooray!
I may need that plus. I will need that plus for the shoulder wound.
Okay.
Yep. So
he has a weapon that does. Say again.
So
sorry.
I'm on a 6, so his wound does slow him down a little.
Okay, you're using a +2. Okay, so he almost ends up striking you. Just barely managed to block his blow. Now we'll go from the left to the right for next action. Do you want to do anything, Captain?
So Jano, he's still looking at the door. I mean, he's I guess he's still deafened at this point.
Yo, that's right. You're deafened.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining we're sort of stood next to each other, going, "Shall we try the door? What do you think?"
Except Duma would be tapping you guys to point back.
Yes, I'm kind of swatting your hand away as you're poking me, and you hear me. I'm going as fast as I can.
What?
Okay. So then, Duma, it's your turn.
I think the first thing, I think they probably have it well in hand. His first reaction is going to be to try and shake off the deafened.
Okay. You can try to overcome that roll. You're like shaking your head, hitting it and such. Make another physique check.
Physique, okay.
I would say that a good would do it.
Okay, cool.
So you managed to get to the point where your ears are really ringing and your head kind of hurts, but you can hear. All right. So it is Ian's turn. You are up. Dragano.
Yeah. Same thing. I'm trying to end it as quickly as possible. So end him as quickly as possible.
I only got +1.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you rolled not awesome. I rolled really not good. All right. So you strike. tries to block your blow with his sword, but just fails, and you manage to kind of push him back into the gravitationally free room, and also skewer him. He lets out a blood-curdling scream. Now, blood in a room with no gravity, it's very strange seeing it flow forth from all those wounds as he begins to bleed out.
Well,
as he begins to bleed, yeah, you see Giano sort of like focusing on the door. Also, he's like, and then he starts to look around.
You do smell a lot of blood, and you see the knight back in the anti-gravity room. Just blood flowing through the air around him.
I kind of say too loudly to whoever's nearby, "What happened to him?"
It's probably at that point that I'd shoot him again if I thought if he's still moving or, trying to get out.
No, he's not moving.
Okay.
Well, if I see him shoot him again, I just go, "Oh," and I go back to the door.
Duma will tap Natalia on the shoulder and point her to look back at it and say, "There's a macabre painting for you."
I'll turn around. I'll turn around, not really hear what Doom is saying, but obviously see what he's pointing at, and I'll go, "Well, that certainly saved me a lot of trouble later on."
You don't have to yell. It's fine. We're all right here.
What?
Why don't I pick the lock on the door?
All right.
I can't hear you.
No! Why didn't you pick the lock on the door?
All right, fine.
Never mind talking. Just pick the lock on the door.
Now, this lock is tougher. It's going to be a +4 that you want to beat.
Sure. Okay. Well.
So you try to pick the lock, but it jams, and your tool.
Well, wait. I'm gonna tag Raised on the Streets. I mean,
Okay.
I've seen tough locks, but I have the know-how to get to do this.
Okay. So you spend your fate point, and instead you're picking at the lock. It almost jams, but then you go, "Oh, I've robbed somebody that had this exact lock before. I know how to do this." And you make the right motion, and the door opens. On the other side, you see it's a square room like all the other proper rooms in this tower. It has a open area in the center, surrounded by 3 what looks like they were once prison cells. However, now they're moldering, dusty, filled with crates, and not prisoners. But there is something strange that you see in this room, something very strange, right in the middle of it, sort of looking around curiously, and it sees you pretty quickly. It's this about 6 foot long, sort of white, soft, maggoty looking creature with a little probing nozzle coming out of its many-eyed face, and a series of tentacles growing out of where shoulders might be.
Hi.
It looks at you, and then it starts to do what appears to be like spewing out of a viscous, gooey fluid onto the ground where there's dust.
Viscous gooey fluid that looks like the same viscous gooey fluid that was on the stairs?
Yes.
Great.
It's the wizard's cleaning person.
I'm not really sure that person counts because it hasn't said anything, but yes.
Now, it does not respond to you beyond that. It looked at you and seemed to acknowledge you with some curiosity, and then it went back to it appears to be some sort of feeding on just this dirty ground.
Okay.
Do we see tracks going across the ground? If it's dirty, it might be showing tracks.
Oh, you do faintly see some leading to a door on the far side, not into the prison cell.
Giano, is this the right way we should be going?
Oh, and by the way, Captain, at this point, your snout would have returned to normal.
Okay. Well, there's really no other place to go, is there? At this point, I mean, there's
3 prison cells. There's this thing in the center of the room.
Okay. I will. Well, I'll do the snout trick again, and I'm going to So let me see if I can do that. I am pretty good with this, so.
Where's Texas?
But not today.
Where's Texas collar?
I only need a fair, I believe,
Oh, okay.
for tier 1 spells. They're really simple.
Okay. So
And
no, yeah. So I'll repeat the gesture and
Okay.
and then I'll again take a refresh the scent with the sniffing the item, and then begin sort of like turning around, with my nose to the air.
You do smell a hint of him. The maggoty creature smells bizarrely clean.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Well, is there any place where it's stronger of him than anywhere elsewhere?
It's hard without like entering the room and sort of sniffing along the ground, more to say.
Okay. Yeah.
And the
All right.
creature is also right in your way too, and you wouldn't want to stick your nose in that, I imagine.
Probably not. No. So, yeah. He was definitely in there.
Great.
We may have to deal with that thing first, though.
Yeah, that's probably well, maybe not. I don't know. I'm sure the Duma would like to study it.
Duma, could I impose on you to carry us up to the others, please?
Oh, certainly. So Duma will turn back and go get the others.
Well, wait. Before he can take. I'm sorry. What's your character's name again?
Dragano.
Trigano. Before he can take. No. He can take Trigano first, and then when he does that, I'm going to search the body of the knight who's bleeding out in the library.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay, so I'll describe what happens to the people who enter the room and what happens to Prospero as he's poking around the library at the corpse.
Trying not to breathe in the blood, right?
Well, yeah.
You are entering the room carrying who?
No, I think he was picking up Dragano from the bottom of the stairs because I think that he and
Oh, right.
Yeah, shuttling them back up.
Yes.
Yeah.
so the two of us were kind of still down there.
Yeah.
You do pick up Dragano and bring him up the stairs. Now, Prospero, as you float out and pick at the body, make an athletics check.
Okay.
And you want to get a 3 or better.
Let's see what I got. All right. Oop.
Oh, and anybody who had deafness now, it's worn off.
Oh, okay.
Well, it should have been at a +2, but I still screwed that up.
Yeah, so you do loot the body as much as you desire. However, you are covered in blood.
Great.
So you look like a butcher at this point, just that has gone on a killing spree. You find his
Wonderful.
short sword, his heavy crossbow. His armor's too shredded to be worth even like stripping
Right.
off. You get +1 resource point, which, if it ever matters, means that you have money to spend.
Nice.
In the form of some of the local Bologna's currency and a couple gems. Let's say one of those is a tiger's eye.
Ooh, fancy.
Not like actual literal tiger's eye, but
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and he
nice.
also has a silver ring.
Okay, I'll take that too.
All right, so you get those objects, but you'll look pretty horrific afterwards.
So
You
when
know
Duma-
what? It's fine.
It's fine for you. I have to carry you.
Now, Duma, you make it up the stairs. When the creature sees you, something interesting happens. It turns towards you and it begins to undulate up and down and making a strange sort of droning, gibbering sound. And its tentacles go up in the air, sort of swaying strangely.
I think it likes you.
And then it stops doing that. It moves towards the prison cell, which it proceeds with one long tentacle to open. It grabs a small cylinder and then begins to move towards you. Do you do anything as it moves towards you with the cylinder? And it looks rather like some of the other ones you've grabbed.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's another one of these metal jars,
Yeah.
if you will?
Yeah.
So it's moving towards us with one of the...
Yep.
Just that this creature, does it look fairly frail? I mean, obviously it's the corrosive goo that it has is nasty, but apart from that, physically, does it look fairly frail or fragile?
Hard to say about frail, but certainly in the sense of being squishy.
Yeah.
Might I make a small suggestion, since we've determined that metal is unaffected by it?
Yeah.
May I suggest someone take a long piece of sharpened metal and stab it rapidly through that thing before it gets close to us?
That's what I would suggest too.
So Duma, it is moving towards you as they're saying this.
Okay, well, that means I have to put somebody down to do that. Right? Dragano? So I guess I can put Dragano down, and I can pull out my... I said, it's a shame, but I think I can take care of this. And he pulls out his dagger, and we'll stab the thing.
Okay. Make a check.
Against what?
With fight.
Yeah, I don't have that, so this can be fun.
Just roll +0.
Yep.
Okay. All you needed was a 0, because this is what's strange. You stab it, it doesn't defend itself, and it reaches out with one tentacle, holding the jar up to you. Then you strike it, and it lets out this horrible, like, gurgling, shrill sound as it sort of, like, shrinks up into itself and sort of, like, twitches.
I have a feeling that was a mistake. It was probably just trying to give that to us.
Mission accomplished, then.
Oh, and this goo is just spreading out of it and covering the room.
Can someone come get me? Hello? What happened?
I went to university to become a porter. So apparently, yeah.
And also vermin exterminator, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So I pick up the metal jar that he was giving to me and put it in my pocket. And if I have metal pockets, I don't know how this works, but okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Your shoes, if you were wearing them, would be eaten through, but the soles of your feet are fine.
Right.
And now the gel just like covers a lot of this room after it's sort of twitched and then curled up into itself.
Yeah, this was not the best plan. Okay, so I go back and I get Prospero.
Hey, don't ask about the blood.
Prospero, I don't need to. I know what you were doing. But you know you're going to have a hard time getting the blood out of your clothes.
No, I got that.
Yeah, and your nice clothes. So was it worth it? So
I'm in my armor, okay? If I have to pay someone to wash the cloak, then fine. But
anyway, so I carry Prospero up the stairs. And I guess since I'm carrying him already, carry him through the room to the other door.
Okay.
What happened?
Oh, it was not one of the better stories.
Duma may have killed an innocent creature.
That doesn't sound like Doom at all.
I know, I thought the same thing.
I'm not happy about it. Can we forget this?
So you walk through the ooze to the other door, past the 3 cells full of crates.
Well, there are crates. Did you check the crates?
We can check them later.
We thought we'd leave that pleasure to you, Prospero, since we know how much you love looking at things.
I do. Do you want to drop me off by the crates and you can take the others across?
Okay. And then toss them into the crates.
All right, so you toss them through into one of the cells, the one with the open door.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's 2 mid-sized crates in there.
All right, let's see what's in it.
Okay. So you're going to have to either use tools to sort of pry the lid off, or you're going to need to brute force your way into them. What do you choose to do?
Well, I just got a short sword, so let's see if I can use that as a rudimentary tool. I'm not trying to like hack something off, but I'm going to try and insert it in the seam, basically.
Okay. I'll say that it just counts. Using a tool like that will give you a +2 in this case.
Sure.
Easy.
What am I?
Usually. So what did you get with physique?
Oh, it's physique?
Yeah.
All right. Let me check that. Okay. Please work out. I'll take a 2.
Okay. So you managed to pry it enough open, not completely. It'll take a little bit more force. But you hear a strange, like, sort of wet-sounding growl.
Oh, that's bad.
There's a fierce smell radiating from it now that you've opened it.
Okay.
A fierce smell of just, like, something's fecal matter.
Great. I'm going to try and look a little bit while I have this pried open. Although that's...
You see a very strange creature with eyes on stalks, sort of almost like a very compact canine shape, but no hair, and a large, almost more fish-like maw full of many serrated teeth. And it lunges at you, trying to force its way out of the crate at you. This creature looks like it must have been starving for some time.
Okay. Can I give it, like...
It only gets a +1, which isn't going to break the rest of that pressure to get at you, though.
Can I take some, like jerky out of my pack, let's say, and put it through the thing?
Okay. Actually, no, that's pretty easy. So you throw it in there. The creature whines, and it sounds like there's a lot of like slobbering and gulping of whatever you put in there down.
Okay. Hey, Giano? I have a thing that I'm hoping you can look at.
Oh, I can't hear you. You're mute.
Okay.
I'm assuming I'm still at the original side because I always go last. So I look and I say, "What is it?"
I'd say it's a dog with a fish mouth and tentacle eyes.
Sounds like you saw it pretty clearly. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. You're good at nature, right?
I'm good at nature, I suppose.
Right. So if I let it out of the crate, is it still going to try and eat my face? I gave it some food because it looked like it was starving to death.
You can do a lore nature check there.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's probably fine.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, once you feed it, it tends to bring animals around pretty quick.
All right. So, I mean, I'll finish forcing the crate open and have a little more jerky in hand and just wait, basically.
So I'm going to give it a chance that it goes for you and a chance it goes for the jerky. If I get a +3 or higher, it goes for the jerky and not for you.
That sounds like a tough chance.
Yeah, no, you're the much bigger meat, so it's going to go for you.
Okay.
It lets out a gurgling, strange, wet-sounding howl and lunges at you with a fantastic.
Yeah.
It's an absurd-looking creature that just it's like something that shouldn't really exist, like somebody's just bad, malformed creation.
Okay. Well, great. That's.
So you want to defend yourself now?
Yeah, by jumping out of the way of it, jumping at my
I
throat.
did say probably.
You did qualify that, however. So yes, let's see how poorly I dodge out of the way of this. I got a 3. Yeah.
So it has a weapon rating of 2, so it's actually still going to do 5 damage to you unless you can reduce that with armor.
I'm wearing leather, so that's
okay,
4.
so it goes down to 4. So you take 4 physical points of stress as it bites into your rib cage and shakes you like a bulldog.
Great. Well, I only have 4 stress boxes, so
you're going to want to take a consequence. Basically, consequences describe in some way that can become a temporary aspect what it does to you.
Sure.
What wound has it inflicted, and if you take a mild, then it is 2 physical stress. Moderate is 4, major is 6. So it's up to you how much you want to reduce that stress by.
I'll do a mild.
They only go away after a certain amount of time, and only if you do something to actually make them go away, like treat your wounds and whatnot.
Right. So I'm going to take a mild and 2 stress.
Okay.
So let's go with. I mean, it sounds like it raked me pretty good. So.
Yeah.
I guess just bleeding chest wound.
Okay. So it's bitten a chunk out of your chest. It eats quickly.
Great.
Well, seeing this, and because I am a bit of a softie, and it was technically my fault by telling him it was probably safe. I'm going to try to make my way across the room to him, kind of trying to avoid any of the goo. I mean, I'm assuming it's not like an inch deep on the entire floor, right? It's probably just like a big pool, sort of, spread out from where this thing was killed and all that.
Yeah, it's still going to be athletics to get across to where you want to be, though. At this point.
What's that?
Quickly, you're still going to want to make an athletics check to get across to where you want to be. With it, especially.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to take big long strides too if I can. My athletics is not admirable.
You only need I'll say a 2. Oh,
nope, a 1.
So you do get across there, but you take a point of physical stress as some of it manages to splash up onto you and burn.
All right.
And then you are near enough to the creature, you can take an action towards it.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out with my hand, and I'm going to cause my hand to catch fire. So I have the sort of glove of flame that sort of runs up my forearm, and I'm going to reach out and kind of try to grab this thing and pull it away from him.
Okay. So you're going to want to attack with Magicka and spend a point of Caw. This will have a weapon rating of 2, and it goes through most armor.
Okay. All right. So
I'm going to try to defend
let's
with
see what I can.
It managed to, with more grace than you expect for a creature like this, dodge out of the way.
All right. Yeah, so my flaming hand just brushes right past Prospero's face a bit, but
great.
This
is working out well.
Now I have to break in to ask: does anybody have to leave before 4 o'clock?
I mean, I'm gonna have to turn the lights on in a minute, but no, I'm good.
I'm good for about
another half hour.
Yeah, I'm good for about another half hour.
Okay. All right, so yeah, it did manage to dodge out of the way. Now it is Dumas' turn to take action.
Yeah, Dumas does give a big sigh. And so he's close enough to do something, isn't he? Let's see, what can he do, though? So he's got the dagger handy, I guess. Except, actually, wait, so the dog is still inside the cage?
It is out of the crate. However, it is
in the cell still.
a prison cell with an open door.
So can
and
I?
There's another PC in there as well.
Right, it's one.
Yes.
So I can pull that PC out and slam the door shut?
Yes.
Okay, then that's what Duma would like to do.
Okay, so you quickly do that and slam the door shut. I will give it a small chance that it gets through. It's not going to be as athletic as it is at fighting. It got a good. So you want to make a. You can do an athletics check or a fight check to close that door quickly.
Definitely athletics. Duma's not a fighter.
All right,
Ooh.
so unless there's an aspect you can invoke to close that door really quick and block it.
I don't think he has any that actually work that well. To block it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. High concept clockwork inventor, so therefore he should be able to find anything, anything he could use to jam it under the door to help him shut it would work. So he could jam it with his dagger temporarily and then do it with something else.
Okay, so you are using more like sort of brute force along with a tool to close this, and this will cost a fate point.
Yep.
And the dog is pretty quick, but you use your metal body to block it, and it doesn't brute force its way back through for the time being. However, you are kind of stuck there holding it closed until you can actually latch it shut. And
well, if my I'm right there, so if my hand is still on fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna reach out and like grab the metal and like heat it up more so that I actually kind of melt the steel and like kind of pinch it together.
Okay.
And just weld it basically.
Nice. That'll actually, it's a different sort of action you cast a spell for originally, so it'll spend you another point of cog basically. And you begin to melt the metal together so that it's not going to be able to force its way out now.
Okay. Do I need to re-roll for this, or did you just use the Ka?
I think just using the Ka is fine.
Okay. So the intensity goes up for a minute. You get this kind of bright light that you have to kind of turn your eyes away from. And then I pull it away, and there's this kind of orangey, slag of metal twisted together. I hope no one needed to get in there again.
Prospero.
What?
Oh, did we leave him in there? Or
no.
He got pulled out.
Oh, good.
So now you have an angry creature sort of gurgling at you from behind the bars.
This is what I get for trying to be nice to really strange things.
Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Shall we carry on exploring, gentlemen?
If you're done playing with the dog.
That's not quite what it is. Anyway, yes.
All right, let's find something out then.
Something terrible is going to happen. Yeah, so we'll continue on. I will be last.
All right, so you make it to the door on the other side, assuming you're all sort of doing your routine of carefully crossing around the edges and not rushing to get through the goo.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Except for Duma, who just plods through.
Yeah, you just have goo on your feet. And you do indeed make it to the other side.
In the meantime, I am bandaging what I can, but yeah.
Okay, make an academics check actually to see if you really heal your,
I have no
heal. Plus 0.
Okay, fantastic. Let's make this happen. Nope.
So you're trying to bandage yourself, and while you do, you manage to move in such a way that you just tear it more.
Oh, good.
Take another point of physical stress as you're bleeding further.
Great. Okay.
I'm just gonna sort of like bat his hand away from the bandages, making an absolute pig's ear with this, and I'll be like, look, let me have a look at it, Prospero.
Fine.
Dear me. And I'll sort of take these bandages off, and I'm going to try and sort of fix whatever horrendous mess he's managed to make of himself.
Okay.
And it's law academics, isn't it?
Yeah. So you managed to bandage the wound. It's not going to heal very fast because you didn't do an excellent job, but at least he's not going to continue bleeding further. At this point, he's held together and stable.
Okay.
Well,
I think that'll
Thank
hold
you.
you together. I think that'll hold you together for now, but just do try and be careful. And then I'll sort of, for the first time, I'll notice that he's like absolutely covered in loads of blood, like more than his own. I'll be like, have you changed your jacket?
I decided red was my color.
No, it's a good look on you. I like it. It's bold, not overstated.
Do you think so? You know, when I reclaimed my birthright, I figured that that's really what I'm going to get fitted out with, some nice red clothing. Maybe a gold trim.
Nice, I like it. If you do need to talk to someone about that, I do know a fellow who could probably sort you out with something like that. But we can talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, so far he's bringing the scent of murder wherever he goes.
The scent of murder or on.
How bad off does Prospero look?
Actually, what I was going to say, when he comes nearby, I take out this little vial from my thing and I hand it to him. It's this little label that says vanilla extract on.
Yeah, I have 3 out of 4 stress boxes checked and a mild consequence, so I'm beat up pretty good.
Okay.
So you're tending to each other's wounds, and again, none of these doors are really descriptory. They're just sort of nondescript doors that look the same in each room, just about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna win this time.
Whose turn is it to open the door?
Well, if it's locked, it'll be mine again.
My hands are far too valuable for that.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
All right, you open up the door, and heat, immense heat, like from dry desert, wafts through. You see before you dry, cracked land with looks like a thin layer of glass covering it. In the distance, it looks like there's maybe a city. And the sky you look up into, the sun looks kind of strange. It has more of a red cast to it than you're used to. And it makes the sky itself, coloration-wise, look kind of strange. But it's very, very hot.
Gianno, do you smell? Did Lucas go this way?
You sniff?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So you smell him in this room, but you don't smell him beyond the door. Even though it smells like he went through it. That's the odd bit.
I have an idea, and Duma closes the door and then counts to 3 and opens it again. Did anything change?
We'll see. Yes. You see steaming jungle and hear a great roar.
And now, Gianno?
I smell again.
No, but you smell a lot of like bird and reptile and just abundance of life.
I look at him, shake my head. No. Next.
Okay. Let's see what's behind door number 3. Close it. Open it again.
All right. You open it, and all of a sudden, it's like time is lost. Like you've fallen into a deep slumber, and you wake up, all of you, in beds in this very pristine, clean, white room where there's all these bunks with white sheets. You recognize each other immediately. Any wounds that you had are completely healed. Even old scars that you had are gone.
Wow.
Oh.
Listen, and you hear whispering, but it's from all around you faintly and no apparent source. And in one of the other beds, you do see a young man sleeping. You're also all in white gowns.
Where is Rosa? Is Rosa here, or is
You don't see any of your equipment.
That's unfortunate. Is my consequence gone, or?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay. Is the rest of my? So I don't know where any of my stuff is, but I'm healed, and no, damn it.
I'd
rather look like a murder victim. All right.
That can be arranged.
I said look like.
So can you describe the room?
It's a room that has many beds on it, all with white sheets. It's just very, very plain white room, very clean and sterile.
So
You see
like a hospital ward kind of.
Yes, very much like a hospital ward.
Any windows
But not
or
like
doors?
Say again?
Any windows or doors?
No windows but doors. There are 2 doors on either side of this long room. And there is a young man asleep in another bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go over to him.
All right, you go over to him. This is... Wait, say again, sorry.
Lucas?
He sort of drearily lifts his hand up and scratches his head and looks at you and says, I had the most refreshing sleep. Well, what are you doing here? Oh, where am I?
Well, we're here to rescue you, but where we are, we know not as yet.
Oh, I must have gone through one of the portals in the tower.
At least. You have
Oh,
led us a merry dance, young man. It's time to go home.
No, not yet. There's still more of the tower to explore.
It is a dangerous place.
Well, yeah, but I'm filled up.
No, you're going home.
He sort of frowns and says, Father sent you, didn't he?
Yes.
Daddy. Well, I can't leave without my things that I brought and found here.
Well, let's find them, because I'd rather leave with all my equipment too.
Yeah.
As Gianna sort of like gets out of the bed, what are we wearing, by the way?
You're wearing white gowns.
Okay. Yeah, that won't do. So, Gianno sort of like takes it and kind of begins kind of shaking it like this, and you see begins to sort of ripple, and the color changes, and it changes to his same black coat as it kind of
Nice.
rolls down to the floor. Maybe 2.
Yeah, it does.
All right. So take that.
So
So
one of you-
I look basically exactly like I did before. It's just an illusion, but it makes me feel better. Okay.
And that's what counts.
It is better to look good than to feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Head for the closest door.
Okay. You head for the door, and you open it up.
Yeah.
Opening
Yes.
it up, you see a hallway lined with doors on either side. It's strange. You hear sobbing and talking in some strange language here and there, but you don't see anybody. On one of the walls, smeared in blood, however, there is a drawing of a man with what looks like the head of a raven and wearing a long cloak.
Well,
Let's try the other door.
yeah.
All right. So you walk back into the... Well, you didn't exit the room. You walk to the
Yeah.
other door and open that?
Yeah.
All right. Just a second.
Unless someone wants to run down there.
Okay. Through this door,
No.
you see a bedroom. It takes up the entire floor. It is very lavish. There's furniture and decorations from what appears to be all over the world, including places you cannot identify.
Nice.
Within the bedroom are 2 stone statues which stand out. They look like they are of Chinese make, and they are in the shape of... There is also a closet, and on the bed is a humanoid cat with horns in what looks like a wizard's robe. And he's holding a staff, a very long staff with what looks like a pine cone is tipping it.
Okay.
And he's lazily singing that off-key song in that terrible voice that you heard earlier. And he looks at you and gives you a toothy grin and says, "Visitors, have you seen Teo? Is he returned?"
Who?
Teo, he owns this tower. Although if he returns, I have a mind to take it from him. You notice here and there that there's patches of fur missing from this feline creature. And one of his eye has a deep scar through it. Okay.
You should go into the hospital. Perhaps they can sort out that scar of yours.
Oh, no hospitals. None. And
Okay.
What was the name of it?
He's got a claw and says, "I am Leonidas."
What was the name of the person who was talking about that owns the tower?
Teo.
Teo. So I kind of step forward. I say, "Do you not know Teo when you see him?"
Oh, Teo is a wizard that can do so many things.
Indeed.
So I might know him. I might smell him. Or maybe not.
Maybe not indeed. And I step forward. Teo at your service.
He sort of looks you up and down. Do a deceive check.
That I can do.
And this guy apparently has any empathy. So he gets to roll +0. He gets a look of well, actually, so the fur on his tail goes bushy.
Yeah.
And his hackles sort of rise. He hisses and spits, looking like both afraid and angry as he sort of slinks back, and he says, "Come no closer, Teo. You'll not do what you've done to me anymore."
I shall not. I have come to set things right.
He looks at you very confused and flattens his ears, and his fur sort of becomes not so bushy anymore. And he says, "What sort of things did you encounter that made you change your mind?"
I have been gone some time. Longer than it may seem to you. For time, not all rivers of time flow the same, do they?
He smiles, and suddenly as he smiles, it kind of, for a moment, you can't tell how far away he is from you. And then he sort of like changes so that it's almost like there's two of him for a second. And he says, Indeed. Will you let me go? I must get back to the Stralfosioni. They wait for me. Now, you would have heard of what he's saying before. They're actually a group of basically mafia type Aryan beast folk that live mostly in the underground canals of Bologna.
Okay.
And that's what he is. He's Therian beast man.
And how will your release reflect upon me?
He sort of thinks about that, like he's really unsure. He says, well, I know you talked about those, and he says, like he's mocking you, those annoying university types, they always want me to come out and share my secrets with them. I bet they would like you if you came out a little bit more.
Perhaps I will. I kind of look over. Yes, you're free to go.
He says, so how do I go?
Out here, down the hall.
He shrugs. He says, I guess maybe the third time really is the charm. He gets up with his staff and starts walking that direction, disappearing down out of the room.
Okay.
So there's still no sign of our things, correct?
No.
No.
And does it seem like this room is in the tower?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll step through into that, I guess.
Okay.
There was a cupboard, you said?
Should we bring Lucas with us on our,
So
just in case we can't come back?
I think
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. He should stay with us at this point.
So you're stepping back to the medical ward? Or
Yes,
you're going...
Lucas should definitely stay with us.
Okay.
But we're not closing
Yeah.
the door.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're stepping into the tower without closing the door.
Okay.
I think we should just have a look around this room first, just in case we can find our gear. Might be-
Okay. So you poke around a bit until you see what is pretty much. How would you know? That's the question. I guess it could be
Could I-
cracked open. There's a storage room.
Could I investigate, I guess? Would that help?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
because otherwise you might find a lot of junk.
Could we assist?
all right. Well, I got an average.
So you poke around. You find. Let's see. You find Matt's gear, Prospero's gear, and let's say you find Dumas' gear, but you're not having much luck finding other people's. Then Ian starts poking around and he finds the rest.
Great.
Uh-huh.
So it's just a storage room. The place is eerie, but you hear these voices, but nothing approaches you. You just see that symbol painted in blood.
Okay. So, was there anything else valuable that I could nab while I'm down here?
You do see some jars of liquid. You see a jar in here with an eyeball floating in it. You see a jar with some sort of fetal thing floating in it.
Not a big fan. Okay.
You do see a sealed box, maybe about that big,
hmm
made out of metal with a handle.
That sounds good.
Okay. So you take that.
Yep.
So you have all your gear back, and you're back in the medical ward with the tower door open.
Should probably put my armor back on with, tattered front section and all. Check Rosa, check the powder, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's all there. They actually bothered, whoever this unseen group of people is, they bothered to organize it more than you normally would.
Huh.
Hey.
Oh, look at these lovely gemstones that I don't know how I got. What?
Yeah.
Yes,
But the only other thing really in here besides that weird stuff is just that there's some jars of liquid.
Okay.
Liquids. There's one that's a swirling rainbow color. There's one that's red. Let's see what other colors are there in here. There's a shimmering black potion. It looks like.
Duma, I found you a smorgasbord.
Interesting. I'll take those and take a look at them later.
Okay. And then you step back through into the bedroom. Okay. So you do emerge into the bedroom. Now we're almost out of time. You did find your guy. You haven't found the way out.
Right. Which will probably be difficult.
We're gonna. It could be.
Well,
if you-
at this point, I think Gianna's just considering just like cutting through the floor.
Yeah.
Taking the short route out straight down.
So since we have to wrap this up, I'm going to say that you continue to search the tower for some time. Eventually, you find that door back out to the ocean again and dare to swim up,
Hooray.
emerging actually at all places of Venice. So you have a little bit of a trek back home, but you are out.
Nice.
Excellent.
Well, thank you for joining me at game. Yeah, this is definitely an adventure that I could run for several sessions or just one.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it was fun. Thanks.
Thank you.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
How much
All right,
fun
so
it?
I'm gonna stop the broadcast.
Okay.